Okay, this is part 2 of the catering demonstration, and we're going to make a hot cupboard, and it's very similar to this one here. I'll just bring a copy of it across, where it's got 2 doors, it's got a control panel, top sides. It's all sheet metal, so that's what I should be working in this demonstration, and the size is 1500 by 700 deep by 850 high. Okay, so what I need to do is move out the way, and we can start creating. So first thing I want to do is load up the catalog for sheet metal. This gives me all my options to create something. So I need to make the top. So we know the top size, so let's just drop a piece of stock in. If you wanted to change your stock, you can actually go into part properties and go in and change the stock, and you can then go in and choose from a selection. You can add your own material as well, but I'm just going to leave it as a default for the moment. So I want to make this one, and we said it's 700 deep, so I've got 700 this way, so put 700 on, and that allows me to grow both sides so it's symmetrical about that point. I'll do the same for this one here, and I'm going to make this one, we said 1500, so we do 1500. There we have the sheet metal top. It needs a side now, so what I need to do is drop. Now I have 2 different drop some sides on, and I have 2 different ways. I can do an in-bend and out-bend. In-bend means that the inner dimension is important, so that's what we'll keep at the 1500. The out-bend is the outer dimension is important, so you'll take material away to make sure that the outer size is within what you specified. So I'm going to do an out-bend. I'm just going to drop it onto there. And it gives me these handles here, so I can then, if I want to, I can pull it down, or I can then right click on there and say I want to snap from a point. I want to just pick that surface there, and I said I need that to be shall we say 50 millimeters. I need I want to put a top edge in there, so what I shall do is I shall do another outer bend. I should just drop it on that corner, and I'm going to this time choose a value of 25, and there I've got the top one side made. What I need to do is I need to add it all the way around the edge. I don't have to repeat this. I've got a great utility, so I go to the sheet metal tab at the top here, and I've got add miter, and then as soon as I select ask that, it asks me to pick what I want to add as a miter. So I pick those 2 parts there, I pick the edges, and I should be able to just pick those straight edges along there and say OK, and there it's created that top part. So if I go to there, I can actually change the name. So I'm just going to call this plain top, and I'm working with stainless steel here, so I can go to one of my other catalogues with textures and I just drag in and drop chrome on that one. So let's put some side panels on then. So let me add some more stock in. So I go back to my sheet metal, drag and drop a piece of stock on there, and I want the stock to be the same size as the width, so I just need to put it on like that, and you can see it has come through at 700. That needs to come down a bit. I'm going to drop this one down to here because I want to pick that edge there, but you'll notice because I dropped it on the top, it's offset, which is obviously not what you want. So we use a tribal, and we will move the tribal to a position so that we can put it in the right orientation. If you see that it's actually on that face there, so I unlock the tribal, I'm just going to move that up to that face. I then relock the tribal and move it to that face there, and you can then see that it's in line. That's great. Turn the triball off, and I want this part here to be, and we said the height was 850, take off 50 for the top, so it's 800, 100 millimeters for the feet, so we call that 700. And it's going to be a hot cabinet. Even if it's a chiller cabinet, it would be possibly double skin, so I'll just quickly knock another side panel on. So what I'll do is I'll do an outbend, because I want to keep that dimension the same, and I want to then choose a distance from point, and I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to say that is if we look at the thing, I should imagine it would be I would say 25 millimeters. I would then do another bend as well, so do another outbend, just drop it onto the there, and I then choose distance from point, and I'll pick that edge, and I know that I want that to be about 25 mil, because that's what we made the thickness, so if we say 25 mil on there, and there I created one side panel. What I need to do now is put this on the other side. I don't have to recreate that, I can just select that part. I'm going to call it side panel. I'm going to put the triball on, and I'm going to unlock the triball. I'm going to put the center of the edge of that edge there, relock the triball, and say I want to mirror link the other side. And there I've got two sides on quite quickly. Let me turn perspective off because I don't like that. And now let's put the back on. And what we can do with the back is we can drop something on there. So let's just drop a piece of stock. Let's take it all the way down to that edge, and you can see that I don't have to go back, keep referring to other geometry and bits and pieces. I'm using the geometry in situ within the scene, which makes it very, very quickly and easily to create what you want using existing geometry, which makes working with IronCAD such a pleasure, and you can be so much quicker as well. So let's just put that to there. Actually, I need to just move that back out because I need to pick that face there, and I'm going to do the same for this one to there. Once again, you notice our stock is slightly proud, so what I need to do is just unlock the triball again, fix it in axes, just say I want to go to there, relock the triball, and then say I want it to go on to that face there. So we've now effectively put the triball, by using the triball, made the side panel. But what I need to do is put the base. Well, I think you might make the base out of one because you don't want to keep welding and doing things up like that. So turn the triball off. I'm just going to do an outbend on that edge there, and so let's zoom out a bit. So let's just pick that point there and say I want it to go to that face. So we've got the base done, we got the back, and I think what I would need to do is I think that the back would be double skinned as well across the top. So I might actually just put a sheet across the back. So I'm going to go to my edge here, and I want to make sure I'm actually on the right part. Okay, I'm going to do an outbend on that edge. I'm going to it seems to have put that at a strange angle, so let's correct that. That's 90. Let's do that at say 45. That's not done that good at all, so I'm just going to delete that and drop that part in again. I don't know what happened there. I think I picked the wrong edge actually. Why don't I just hide selected, and that will give me the opportunity to put the right bends on, etc. So what I'll do is I'll do another outbend, and I shall just move this forward, and I'm going to choose that edge. But what is interesting, because I've got a bit in the middle which I want to do, I don't have to go in and edit profiles. What I can do is, if I want to, if I add stock, I can actually select that part there, and I'm going to then choose the stock size and going to say I want to go on to that. Let's just put that to there a moment, and there, and I shall then choose a value for there. So what I want to do is I want to use the that face and that face there. So if we now have a look at that, we've got the top which is joined to the bottom, so we can actually unfold that. So if we unfold that, let's have a look at that part, and there you can see it's done that cutout for the top. Okay, now the beauty of the way that we're working, because it's free flow format, is that what I can do is I can say, actually, I didn't really want that part there to be from the base. I can actually utilize the part and do the back, or I could just add in an extra part for the back, but I'm not going to worry about that for the moment, because this is just an example of what we are trying to achieve here. So let me show all. Let's put the top on, and you can see I've got different materials. So what I can do is go to my visualization, do the eyedropper, and say I want, oh no, that one. So let's fill the eyedropper. Let's fill the eyedropper with that one, and then go and select them. Turn that off. And what I'll do now is I need to make the control panel. If you remember from the original picture, what I've shown, there is a control panel, and this is one that I made earlier, which you can see is quite an interesting shape. So it zooms in, it recesses in, and so forth. Now I can do that quite easily. So what I shall do is I will actually just make a shape like that, and I'll show you quickly how we do that based upon some dimensions. So once again, see, I've got the sheet metal part, and that is I'm going to call that back panel. I'm going to drag a piece of stock in, just drop it on the top there. I want to drop it down to the floor there. Let's just zoom in a bit, and I want to take this and select that top surface there. Now I need to know the size, and I'm going to make this one we'll say 80 diameter. So we made that 80 across there. I need to put a bend on there, so what I shall do is I shall drop an in-bend this time, just for a change. And we can use the grab handles to choose the angle. It's going to edit the angle and put that at 45. And take that point, and I'm going to say I want to edit the distance from the point from that point there, and I'm going to make that, I don't know, 50 millimeters. You can make it bigger actually. Let's make that 100. There we go, that looks a bit better. I need to put a return on there, so I'll just do an out bend on that edge, and that is put it obviously in the wrong one, which is not a problem. It depends on the edge you pick. If I then was to select that, it will then bend it the other way. And what I can do now is on the radius, I can right click on that. I want it parallel to edge. Let's just choose that edge there, and it's put that bend in line with that. I can then say I want to edit a distance from a point, pick that point. Actually, no, I won't. I'm going to drag that further in, then say I want to edit from point, because it goes normal to that surface, and if it's below that it'll try and shrink it so it disappears. And this time I'm going to make that 150. So I've got basically one side already created. I don't need to do it again. I just use a tribal. As you can see, we use that quite a lot within IronCAD. Let me unlock the tribal and just align it to global. And then I'm just going to move that and drop it down to the center point there. Relock tribal and say mirror copy. And I need to put that one on because that, for some strange reason, why. The tribal on mirror copy. There we go. And so we've basically got our part, but it's obviously in the wrong place. So we use the tribal again. So we put the tribal to a position where we want to work from. So I'll unlock the tribal. I'll drop it down to a point here. And let's put it on that face there. See, it's furthest point, and what I want to do is relock the tribal, and I'm going to move that tribal and I'm going to put it there. And there we can see we've added in our control panel. I can go and change the color. So what I need to do now is add a runner at the top and the bottom to make sure that I've got the ability to slide the doors in and out. And the way that I'll do that is I would let me just change the name of that first off. I'm going to call that control panel. The way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to not do sheet metal this time, but I'm going to go and drop a part in. I'm just going to drag and drop a part on that edge there, and I'm going to drop it as a new part. asked me, it's a linked feature, do you want it on the other side? The answer is, on this case I don't, but it's a really handy feature if you want to add parts to a linked feature, which will then be replicated throughout the model. And if I click on that and get and go to the Intelli grab handles, I can move this up to the points that I'm interested in. So I want to actually make this 60 diameter, and so that's 60. Let's just move that out that way, and that way is going to be 20 millimeters up. Now you see the blue handle there, that's telling me the way that the extrusion's going, so I know that if I want to edit the profile shape, it's going to be on that face there. So all I do is edit the cross section. Let me put it in position so I know which way I've got to build my profile. Okay, so let's hide all. Just look at this, normal to that. Let's zoom in a bit. So I need like a castellation there, so I want 2 runners down there. So what I'll do is I just add some geometry in. I'll just make I'm not too worried about what I'm doing here at the moment. I think what I can do, else do I need to do? Yeah, I think I'll do an offset around the middle. I'll just pick that line there, and I want it bi-directional. I want it 5. Okay, I want to mirror, move, but I'm going to do a copy. I'm going to make it in the X 10. Sorry, I need to cancel that one because I've got the wrong line selected. I need to select that one and that one, and I want to do an offset. I don't need it bi-directional. I just need to flip the direction in, and it needs to be 10. Okay, so I just need to trim away the parts I don't need now. So if I go to the trim section, I can take out those parts that I don't need. It's saying you've got a number of curves on there. Do you want to continue? Because it will take them out. Other ones I'm saying yes, that's fine. I do want to do that. And I want to say yes. And let's have a look. That looks like we've got all of the parts there. Let's then make sure we've got no duplicates. So I'll select them all. Sometimes it put it, no, there's no duplicates in there. Those red ones means that I've got a the entities are not closed, which I just want to make sure that they are. And it's all white, there's no red parts in there, so we can just say finish. And there's the profile. I want to just take that edge and say, look, let's just put it onto that one. And there we've got the bottom runner. Well, guess what? If we want to put one on the top, we turn the tri-ball on. So what we can do is I can actually unlock the tri-ball, say center of edge, pick that edge, relock the tri-ball and say mirror link, and there we got our 2 runners in position. The remaining thing to do is to put a door on. Actually, there was something I could have shown you on the control panel which I didn't do. So if I go back to the control panel and click on the sheet metal tab, I can drag and drop in a punch, and you can by clicking on those dimensions, you can move those dimensions around so you can position it very accurately. I just put the center part in, and if I zoom in, because the default is quite small, if you then right click and click on tooling properties, so you have standard size punches, so you can put those standard size punches in which you have, or you might only want to use a certain ones amount, or you can put your own customs ones in. So I'm just going to actually put 16, let's do 20 by 5, and it's made a punch hole in that control panel. And the reason I've done that is when I finish doing the doors, you'll understand why. So I have the cabinet in position. All I need to do now is add in a door. Well, I'm just going to do them single skin, but they will normally be double skinned with a handle on. I'm just going to do single skin to start with, just to show you. Just drop a piece of stock in. Obviously I need to move it into position, so let's just move this up a bit. So let's zoom in and have a look. I want that stock to be on that edge there, and I need it to be up on that edge there, so I'll just move that up to that point, and it looks about right. So I'm just now going to zoom out a bit, and I want it that side in line with there, and let's just assume that it needs to be halfway along. They're normally either slightly over or whatever, but for the moment we'll do the midpoint, pick that edge. And obviously, once again, like I said, you know, that we put it on that top face of the stock, so it's in the wrong place. What I need to do is just say, okay, let's put that to the midpoint of an edge, and I can then zoom in down here. I want to choose that edge there, and you can see it's put it in the midpoint of that there. While the tribal is still selected, and there's two doors, so what I'll do is I'll just move that forward, and I'm going to create a copy here. Just going to say okay, turn the tribal off that, select the second part there, and I'm going to move that, so I'll put the tribal on, and I'm just going to move it out. I'm going to lock it in position there. I'm going to go, I want it to be the midpoint of that edge down there. And I'm just going to move that out to a point there, so it's showing the door open. Turn the tribal off and zoom out, and I can then, that is part 8, and that is called door. So we got two doors, and we've got the cabinet pretty much completed. Obviously you could do more detail and fidelity on there, but basically that's briefly giving you an idea of how you would quickly make a cabinet. But there's a couple of things missing. There isn't any feet, and there isn't a control knob. So actually, if we go to add-ins, we have two features which are part of IronCAD, which is called Trace Community and CADNEMS. CADNEMS is all electronic parts, and you have a mixture of electronic and mainly mechanical parts in Trace parts. You need an account, but then they produce, you can then download and get models. So if I was to just say, for argument's sake, wanted to add in a part here, like say a control knob, it will actually bring and drop a part in directly for you. So if I do a search and I can put control knob. Let's have a look. It'll do a search for all these command words that you've looked at, and if you then wait for it to populate properly, if you click on, oh no, actually if we scroll down a bit, that's the one I was looking at. It brings the part in, which is enable you to have a look at that and see if that's what you want. You can, if you then say yes, you can then actually open the part, and then you can then add it to the you can then rotate it around, get all this, make sure the dimensions are correct and everything, and then all you have to do is add that part to IronCAD by just saying transfer to IronCAD. As soon as you do that, you'll bring that part in and drop it on the IronCAD scene, and there we go. So I can then stop that and open it up. Let's put the triball on. Let's just move it out so you can see. Just zoom in, and there we got a control knob which is actually in the center. So let's rotate it round this way so we've got the right orientation. Let's make that 90 degrees so we're in the right orientation, and what I'll do is I'll just drag and drop it down to here. Whoops, went in a bit quick there. Just move out a bit, and what I want to do is I want it to be a center point of that edge, just to put it in the right place, and the center point of that edge, and then I could just say I want that to be on that surface. There we go. Turn the triball off, and there you have your control knob on to adjust the temperature, etc. I have some others. You do the same thing with the trace part community to get some feet. What I've done is I have a catalogue which I've saved called Catering, and I have an adjustable feet there. So if I was to select that and just drag and drop that part in there, you can see it drops the part in. It's in the wrong orientation. Let me just move that out a bit. Let's rotate that round 180 degrees. And let's move the center point of the tribal. So I'll unlock the tribal, and I'm just going to say I want it to the center point of, zoom in on there, relock the tribal, and I'm going to put it on that edge there. I need to come out a bit. Okay, and I want to pick that edge and I want to move it across like that. I want to move here, and I want it to be 60 by 60. So I have a part there. I now need, what I'll do is I'll select that part, I just copy it across down to there. I'm going to create a link copy here because I might as well, because if you want to change one, you'll change all of them. And I'm just going to say OK. Select the tribal on this one, and I'm going to say I want this to be a distance from an edge distance from point, and pick that edge there. I'm going to make that 60. So in theory they're all in line. Okay, let's have a look. Yeah, that looks good. Select the second one, use the tribal because I want to mirror it over to the other side. So I unlock the tribal. I'm just going to say midpoint of edge, just pick no, that's, yeah, midpoint of that edge, and then say I want a mirror link on the other side. And there we have it. There we have created our cabinet. However, they're individual parts, so I can go in and change all the names, but what I would normally do is at this stage I would select them all and roll it up into an assembly, and we call that hot plain top cupboard, which is the name of the part that I was copying. And once I've got that, I can then, by selecting, I can drag and drop that into my catalogue, and I can have then my hot plain top cupboard, and then, which I can then utilize in further on down the line, which I'll show in part 3. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you have any problems, please get back to me, and I'll do what I can to help.